but everybody, oh. All right, so we are just warming up a little bit for the first love panel. Yes. Woo. So we've got some outrageous merchandise, which will be featured at the charity auction coming up at noon. So that will be a nooner you don't want to miss. We have right now First Love, so we are still just waiting for a few more people. But right now we can start the discussion if you guys want about First Love, which is classic Jem, and I'm talking the original Jem when the cartoon series debuted in 1985, and what it meant to us because we're all here, 30 years later. So the original doll line and the original cartoon series. I want to just kind of basically just have a discussion about what stood out that made it have such a meaningful impact on our lives. Because I think I'm going to start off by saying that for me personally, it was a combination of the music and the dolls. Like I found the dolls were neat. I thought, when I was a kid, I thought Jem didn't have enough pink in her hair, so my mom tried to help me put marker highlights and to try to make it pinker. And I just remember things like that. I'm like, yeah, like that's totally that was totally something that was special to me when I was a kid. And just seeing the show and being like, oh, and being really upset that whenever I played Jem in the schoolyard, I always had to be Eric Raymond. Now I can be Jem now that I'm an adult. But basically, I'm going to just go around to whoever wants to start about it. What are your favorite Gemmeries?
Okay, I was much more when it started playing live, and so I actually got into more when I was watching it on USA. So somehow I ended up watching Scandal as my very first episode going on here. And I remember when Father Should came, and the next week they went back to spaghetti. I just wanted to know. And everybody gets on the car and I'm like, where's Rhea? But what I do remember is I never felt weird about watching it unless I was with my friends. There was always something exciting, adventure, something almost naughty. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, she's. It fed into the Superman thing I already had. Because it got the alter ego. I was watching Linda Carter's Wonder Woman the same time. And I didn't actually have the dolls. I didn't have any of the dolls growing up, but the show was I was just involved with it.
Well, yeah, definitely. The secret identity thing was kind of cool because that gave a whole aspect to the drama. Whereas, like, she was always worried about being found out and what the impact it would have on her life. And I actually, you were mentioning Linda Carter Wonder Woman, and that was very much too. Like, I thought when I was going to I borrowed some of that from Wonder Woman a little bit because Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, Steve Trevor, the comic book used to play with that a lot. So the love triangle between the two identities. The Wonder Woman comic. So I think Jem borrowed that, but she made it glamorous and fabulous. And that's one of the things, actually, maybe we can touch on that later, but I found that it was more important at the beginning of the show, but later in the show it wasn't as emphasized. When we got to the Stingers, I don't think it wasn't as much about, oh, she's going to be found out. Riot liked her dual identity, and it seemed even that there was less emphasis on, like, everything would fall apart. It was like, no, there's, this new band in town, and it's a different scenario at that point. But what else? What other Gemmeries do we have?
I remember how it all began. I was 11 years old, and I remember my grandparents had a restaurant at the time, and they used to live upstairs in the restaurant, was in the bottom of their house, I guess you would say. So before I would go down to like help out and do dishes and stuff, like on weekends, I went to school during the week, of course. And, I just remember watching, I think it was either Super Saturday or Super Sunday in my market. I don't remember which one it was, but I just remember the half-hour show and just randomly watching TV, and Jem came on with the whole opening theme and everything, and I just remember like 10 minutes later, I'm like, what was that? That it was like to be continued, and I'm like, I can't wait until next weekend to see the rest of this. Like just from the very beginning, I was hooked. It was just so good, like a good story and good music. It just really drew me in, and it was like amazing. Just I was hooked.
I remember I was born in July of '89, so it was after Jem was on the air. But what was funny was growing up in the '90s, they had all the mom and pop video stores before everything was online, and they had all my local video store. They had all the VHS tapes of all the '80s shows, and they had the Gem VHS tapes that we put out there, and they had free kids rentals every week. The first one that grabbed me was like the glitter and gold tape, and every week we would go, and like I kept wanting to get the Gem tapes over and over again, and my mom like got annoyed after a while, and the guy finally said like she could just keep it because we kept running the same ones over and over again. So it was kind of neat in a way, because it was like you have people who have gotten into the show but who weren't even physically alive when the show was on the air originally. With all the remake, with all the like coming back now on the HUD and all those other things. Like I grew up with like on VHS tapes in the 90s. That was how I got into it.
Yeah, something similar. So I was born in '85, and so I wasn't watching the original run. But I don't remember how it began. I literally don't remember a time for Gem in like my childhood. It's kind of weird because I'm like, can I think of like playing but not knowing about Gem? And I just can't. Because I left it out, but that's where it is. And I remember just being entranced by the music and the color and the stories and I think I had a couple of dolls. I definitely had the Star Stage growing up, but my sisters are half sisters, so we lived apart. But they also had Gem dolls, and so when we got together, we could play, and it was a lot of fun. It was sort of something that none of my other friends knew about Gem, but my sisters, we all knew about Gem. Their mother and my mother were very supportive and watched the show with us, so it was a lot of fun.
It was a perfect match, you could say. All right, I love this. It's like it's like a Gem campfire. We're all just having like
There should be a Gem camp.
Oh my god. Gem retreat.
Touching on what you said about bringing the family together, I will say that my mother has been very, very supportive. A lot of different things like with dolls. When I was 10 or 11, all sorts of stuff. Or watching other shows like Punky Brewster. She never said, "Don't watch it." She never said, "Oh, it's a girl show." All she said is that you watch TV too long, your eyes will hurt.
I heard that one.
But and among other things, and I'm blessed. But I will say that getting back into Gem, of the original show, it's given me something, it brought back the memories of how supportive my family is, and that's something I can remember. I remember I asked her, I said, "Come over and watch this," and I never showed my other past, and she looked and she's like, "I know, that's only what Jerry's mom does." And I'm like, "How do you know that?" And she's like, how can I not know that? It's like, she's older than me. She, of course she knows. But she remembers it better than I do.
Well, that's amazing. Well, that's time for family. Like family is.
I kind of want to build back into that because my mom too. I didn't realize when I was growing up. I did not realize that she was actually watching the show. And like coming to JemCon for the first time, she came. She's come every year I come, and she's like, "No, I enjoyed it." She's like, "I couldn't stand it when you liked the new theme." It was like, "Are you serious? Like they need to switch it." Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, new theme, old theme. I think I can predict that everyone's gonna say they prefer the original theme to the second theme.
Yeah.
And what is everyone's take on that?
I love the first theme, but the second team's amazing.
Second theme, well, I didn't really think. I was a little naive about the second theme because I didn't really realize there was that much of a difference. Like until I got the Rhino DVDs, I didn't know the second theme was actually part of the show. I always remember the original theme, Jen was excitement, and then when I saw like me and my friends, I was like, wasn't that a doll commercial? Wasn't that something else? And then I was like, oh, they actually used that for the second. And then I heard about the Gem Boy controversy and how it was like, oh, it's it was like a kind of a redirect to be like, this is a girls' show, it's not. And so I didn't really know about the controversy about that until later. But did anyone when they were growing up feel like that it wasn't for you when that theme came in, or was it fuzzy?
It has less to do with the theme, but like I remember sitting, one of my friends came over, one of my grade school friends, and I already knew how to be casual about the show, and I said we were flipping over, and like, hey, you want to watch this? No, that's for girls. I'm like, okay, fine, we'll watch Transformers or Go Box or whatever. But yeah, having the fact that it said me and my friends are Gem girls, that kind of like beats you over the head with this is not for little boys. Go watch, something like He-Man. Because there's nothing wrong with He-Man, it's important, it's for
Right. I was amazed yesterday, like, I think it was Raven asked the question about, because I realized Christine worked on, G.I. Joe and story in it. So the boys, they won't change the dial. And I was like, wow, I just thought that was amazing because it's like you think Spider-Man, G.I. Joe, Jem, like you just don't see a direct correlation. And then when that explanation was given, I was like, oh my god, yeah, it does all kind of tie together because it was just kind of, even like the very first episode, like to be continued, like you got the Rocket Roadster hanging out with Clay, and I'm like, this is not like any other cartoon I've ever seen. It's like, and I just thought that was really interesting yesterday, like when that was brought up about how her writing, and then also the direction from the executives influenced how crazy and like soap opera-esque the Jem content ended up being, the storylines.
Well, yeah, that's definitely a good point about Christy Mark's writing the sequences to be very action-oriented so that boys wouldn't change the channel. Because I think that was interesting that the original focus was to keep all the audience, and then later to be like, oh, we're going to splinter it a little with this new theme. But I guess in retrospect, we're all here. So I think everybody just was able to enjoy it anyway.
So we were talking to Anne last night, and she said that the second theme wasn't even sung by Greta. It was like some other. I was like, wow. So what kind of rogue situation happened where that theme song that snuck in there? That's seemed ridiculous.
Yeah, just to replace it, and especially not even because they were very consistent about making sure that all the same voices were the same voices for the most part. So it is kind of weird, snuck in there like that.
Exactly.
Wasn't it supposed to be used for a toy commercial and then it got put in the show instead?
I thought Christy said it was because of the timing, that the one was shorter and it was
So they needed 5 more seconds, and they could use that theme instead. But it seems like they were
Yeah,
pretty
I
consistent
thought
on the
that's what Christy
DVDs.
said last year.
Yeah,
Had to do
yeah.
with the timing.
The Rhino DVDs had the second theme song from the beginning, if I'm correct.
No,
Actually, Rhino jumped all over the place.
Yeah.
it was like season 2 at some point.
Yeah, it's like they do the original, then they jump into the other theme, and you're just like, why are they doing this? And then you're like, okay.
And no more Misfits. The Misfits are gone. The second theme.
Dumb question. Is that even proper English? Me and my friend.
Oh, I know. My friends and I are Jem fans.
Oh, really?
Yes.
My friends and I are different girls and have a secret.
It's like, oh, me, I'm Gem Girl.
Me and Jim, hear me roar. but yeah, I guess that was probably a workaround. But still, I guess.
Slowly go.
Oh, so we talked kind of about the beginning of the show, but what are people's memories of the dolls? Like, what was your first kind of encounter with like the dolls when you saw them?
I remember going into Toys R Us back in, gosh, it must have been like 86 when they started coming out. Because Cartoon came out first, and it was a while before the dolls hit the shelves. And I remember walking in Toys R Us, and it was just a row of orange, pink, and yellow, just like, as far as the eye could see, and it was just like, but I couldn't have any of those things because I was a boy, so it was like, oh. But then when eBay came out, that was the first thing I started buying, was all the Gem. But yeah.
I guess it was interesting because I grew up with a brother who's only 2 years younger than me, and we always got the same toys. So I got Jem, he got Rio. If he got a Transformer, I got a Transformer. So my brother literally played dolls with me all my life, watched the same shows, I watched his shows, and I think it's funny that now looking back, my brother never ever said, oh, Jem's stupid, I don't want to watch it. So like you said, when Christy and everyone was talking yesterday about the G.I. Joe, I'm like, oh, I watched G.I. Joe too, and the connection with the action, I was like, okay, this makes sense now, but my brother never thought twice. It was kind of like an interesting revelation to me as we're all sitting and reflecting. So I think it's kind of cool that it could be that like universal of a toy.
Universal appeal.
That's right.
I do remember the doll commercials on being on TV. Like, get the car and get a ride. Pick up Rio for the ride or something. But I never connected it with me wanting to play with the doll. My mom had a friend, 2 daughters had the doll. Dad and I think Raja, if I remember correctly. And I never connected it with me being able to play with these toys. Because none of the other children I knew either had the dolls or played with them. All my friends who were guys had, G.I. Joe, Star Wars, He-Man. And kind of like what Jensen said, it was out there and I knew it was there. But it wasn't anything that I could it wasn't something I could see myself, being given or getting myself. Not until I was much older.
Well, yeah, I think that's an interesting thing, like just the idea of what you think that you're supposed to have and not supposed to have, and kind of just being able to kind of break out of that mold, no pun intended.
Speaking of that, I was an only child, and I had both. I had dolls, and I had this awesome collection of matchboxes. I had a big old chocolate truck with a dump on it that I played with religiously. But I mean, there was no boundaries left for me, so.
And now I have your Poochie.
I have the Poochie stamper.
Oh.
Now TJ has my Poochie stamper.
That was that old dog with the pink ears and like the aviator sunglasses.
Yeah.
I did like to stick.
She's great.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Anyways.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to say that touching back on what Greg said, I also was an only child. And it's not like I didn't have, I had like a plethora of stuffed animals. And I did have something Poochie, I had something like a stationary set. But what I mean is, for some reason I never really went around for dolls when I was older. But I will say that my parents at least were very supportive with unless it was a very expensive toy like My Little Pony Castle. You can't have that. You can't have classification basically. That's too much. But yeah, I will say I'm very blessed. My parents, my family was supportive of me. Because not everyone is. I know I've talked to people, but not everyone's been able to say that.
Well, I think it's interesting, like, going back to something that Christy was saying yesterday, well, actually came up because we were talking about Bonnie, and how the characters were sometimes influenced by what dolls were available. Like, and that was something that was interesting because they focused, like, we're running, like, why did Bonnie seem to have so many problems during the show, and so many story arcs, where she had all kinds of crazy things happening. And then it was because, Christy said it's because they made a doll character. And so they wanted to showcase those characters that were dolls more than just the people that were dolls. So did that influence anyone's kind of favorite characters in any way? Like whoever had a bigger storyline or which characters did you identify with the most throughout the series?
Probably Aja would be my biggest identifier because, obviously I'm kind of tomboy. She's out there fixing the roadsters. Yeah. And yet she still girly, still blue hair, makeup, and all work.
Yes, yeah, and she's always suspicious. She's always like, something's not right.
Wholeheartedly, like some of the other characters do.
Well, my favorite character was Pet Rat, though, and I was like so disappointed that I never got a doll. So
No.
I kind of paid for mine.
Oh, good, yay!
So he's on his way finally. But another favorite character, I always wanted them to be dolls, but there weren't dolls based on them to play with. But Laura from Alone Again.
Oh yeah.
Because it's just that episode, it's like, it makes me cry every time. But I think I can't even think of which came first for me. If it was the love of the cartoons or the dolls, or kind of at the same time. Because I was like in my early 20s when it came on, so I had a job, so I could buy my own, so I could get the collection. And I was already collecting dolls because my parents didn't love it, but they never told me I couldn't play with dolls because I started. The first doll I remember was from the 70s, Dawn.
Yes.
My sister would get them, and they were at the by the dime store in a big tray, and I think those were the first dolls I was allowed to buy as far as my memory goes. But I never really had that problem where I wasn't allowed to. My dad might not have liked it. I might have made comments every once in a while, but it wasn't what I couldn't. So it was kind of nurturing for me, luckily. And I think that might be coming around again, where it's not. I still hear it when I go down the toy aisles. It's like, no, you're not going down. That's the pink aisle. That's the Barbie aisle.
Oh no.
Toys and that's never going to completely change. But I think there's some change coming.
Well, I think that's a good point too, because also Target has that controversy of like they're not going to label the aisles boys' toys or girls' toys, and I think that's interesting because. Well, in some ways, when I was a kid, I liked to know the difference. So, like, I like the pink things, like I like the dolls. Like, I want to know where they are. But then in some ways, I think it's good because it's interesting that Jem. A lot of the theme that's coming up with people is how universal it was and how you could be into the show and play with the dolls and not have it be as much of a stigma. And then later now, it seems like with the hyper niche marketing, it's just like okay, everything's so targeted. that it's interesting that ironically Target is moving away from that kind of separation of the labeling of what kind of gender is supposed to buy these products. So I think it's good that Gem's kind of, now that Gem's the integrity dolls are being purchased, I think, by everybody. So it's good to see that kind of come full circle where like anybody can buy things and it's cool.
And you see him trying to get more male characters as well. So there are people who still kind of follow that pattern. I mean, Monster High's a good example too, because you've got almost as many boy characters as girl characters. So this sort of gives the opportunity of both, or all.
To balance out the line, because I think, because there weren't that many male characters in the original Gem line. Rio.
Rio.
Yeah, just Rio.
Rio.
Well, sometimes Rio was along the balcony bar talking to his hair. And,
well, I love in Italo's videos how he uses the Parker Stevenson Hardy Boys doll for Eric. But I wanted integrity, Eric.
Yes, Eric is like, I know we're not supposed to. We're going to the future. Shh. It's supposed to be the classic panel, but we might just go back to the future. Because I'm impressed with how many dolls are coming out in integrity with the characters that were never produced. So it's kind of neat, and they're doing a lot of male characters like Tech Rat was coming up, and even Anthony Julian.
Yes. I will say, I don't know where I heard it. I know somebody said that when Barbie and the Rockers came out, that people were using, the kid were using Rockers, Derek and Ken as Eric Raven and Ryan. But it's like, Hasbro won't do it, fine, we'll just take something else.
Just take something, make it work. Well, I thought it was interesting because I feel like going back to how I saw Gem as a kid, like I just loved. I love Barbie and the Rockers too. I know everyone's gonna like throw tomatoes at me now, but when I was a kid, I just thought, wow, there's these two cool things, and I love Gem the show stuck with me a lot more because when you go back even on YouTube and you look at the Barbie stuff, it just seems kind of like, oh, they didn't even use the same singer for Barbie. It was like anyone who could come to the studio that day was Barbie. And it just, the songs just varied in quality so drastically, and I just thought Gem had such a specific focus on getting the music right and getting the show right and bringing all those elements together, and even the doll line was well thought out, and it wasn't just we're going to give Gem a twisting waist and that makes her different. It was kind of like, okay, so there's a real thought that went into it. Although I did like it, when I was a kid, I didn't think there was a huge rivalry. I was just like, I like them both. I'm going to buy both. And so I just find it interesting now to look back and see, like, because we heard from Gina Beebe yesterday how there was a team assembled to crush Gem and make sure that on the Mattel side of it, just like make sure Gem goes down. And the fact that Gem made such an impact and has such an impact, I think really speaks to the quality of the brand and what she stands for.
Could I interrupt for a moment for a hug break?
Yes!
Pizzazz is taking off.
Oh!
Bye-bye, Ellen.
Bye, Ellen.
Oh yes, we have a hug break. Hug break.
You're so welcome.
She's never a friend, she's always welcome.
Bye. Oh, good, thank you. Okay, here we go.
Wow. Get your number.
The pizzazz procession.
Guys, actually, I have to get it done let's just all
Thank you.
Your hair looks so pretty.
I know.
Is this an actual?
Yes, that's right.
This is an actual hair.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yes, I'm sorry. But look, I've been coming to Veros for so long, I can look
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
My gem one.
Yes. so that was amazing. So we just saw, so the camera, we just saw Ellen and Anne, and we just, we did them safe travel and farewell.
You're watching me like totally.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, this is loose and free for all. We're just having fun. We're all friends here. We're all, so and speaking of, that was a perfect example of how Jem feels like family, because, you know, even what I love is, I'm like breaking off from like first love into like modern love, but it just feels like to meet the people that made our childhoods and young adulthoods so special, and to have them come here and just give that love back to us, it's just amazing. And I think that's, yeah, again, speaks to what the show meant to everyone involved, to the people who watched it, to the people that created it, and so I think, yeah, it really is special. So I think that's also why people are so protective of it too. That we wanted, we want to see, people, we wanted to maintain that integrity, no pun intended. But so I do. I'm trying to be fun. I know the secret's out. That's my special accessory. But yeah, but I think that's true. Like, so going back to how Jem was, and I think I was talking about the rivalry. So the rivalry between Mattel and Hasbro, but then that has lasted this long, and I think also merchandise. Like I remember there was for a while it seemed to be a lot of crazy merchandise that even I didn't know came out back when it was coming out. Like people were talking about cake toppers,
Yeah.
like came out.
And the pencil top, the same logo used for the pencils, the rubber thing that goes in.
Yeah, the pencil toppers, and sticker books, and
Flash and sizzle soap.
yeah, flash and sizzle soap for like.
Oh my god.
So when you're flashing and sizzling, you get clean.
Oh my God.
Oh, and you thought zest made you zestfully clean. It's like, oh goodness. Yeah, so does anyone have any memories of like the craziest Jem thing you picked up? Like even then or now, like something you eBayed, like just anything that stands out as like a wild and wacky Jem.
It wasn't really wild and wacky, but they had the jewelry cologne set, the necklace, the clip-on earrings, and it came with a little bottle of cologne, and I'd never smelled anything worse in my life.
Oh, no.
And it's still full and in my collection, just because it's Jem, obviously, but I would never. I mean, even
Oh,
now,
wow.
it's getting better with age, seriously, but it was.
It's good.
Seems like work is a buck spray.
Maybe, well, with the paint, they carry you away, so yeah.
So Jem cologne, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool.
Anything else that people have found that's like,
I got the creepy childhood costume.
oh, the creepy the
And I
Ben, is it Ben
remember loving it so
Hoover?
much as a kid, and it came in the lot that I bought, and I went, oh my god!
You had that slit.
Yeah. It was so exciting to get the costume I wore, and then I was like, did it really look like this?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you see it now and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so scary.
Finally, it's like Clash.
it's like everybody wears a mask and it's like.
I remember because all of my dolls were secondhand. All the dolls I ever encountered, I've never seen one in a box. And I could have sworn that everybody hated Kimber because every Kimber I came across had this haircut. And I'm like,
Oh no. Yeah, Kimber does seem to have a trend of unfortunate haircuts. Like,
Oh, she's that funny. She's got it on. Yeah.
oh yay!
She's got the costume on.
How's that puppy?
Oh, that's amazing. We were just talking about that costume. That's amazing. Yay!
It's funny,
Yes.
Eric talked about everybody hates Kimber. I remember, I never actually got one of the dolls when I was a kid. Our older sister, her birthday's before mine, and my grandparents bought her the little stage, the star stage, and they bought her the entire set of the dolls. Even though we both wanted it, it was her birthday, so she got the entire set. Wow. And my birthday's only a month later, and I'm like, I was like, I'm gonna get the same thing, and they're like, no, we already bought that. Why would we do that? And I got something like, and I was sitting there bawling on my birthday just because I wanted one of the dolls so bad, and my grandmother actually yelled at my sister. He's like, just give her one of your dolls, right? And she took Kimber and she threw Kimber at me, and Kimber became my doll because I was crying.
Oh, Kimber with flying action. It was like,
Does anybody need to be glittered up?
yeah. we have a glitter ambassador. Thank Yay, everybody for a round of applause for Britta. Britta.
My aunt and uncle.
Yeah. I'm not British, so I can't sing it as well. Oh goodness. So yeah, we're full of surprises today. I just want to see if more people will come out from the wall. Like our next special guest is. Oh, so yeah, so I think that was an interesting thing too, is that how much memories of you know what things you could have or couldn't have when you were kids. I remember like when Glitter and Gold came out, I was like, that is too expensive. I was like 7 or 8, and I'm like, that's too expensive. My parents will buy this for me. The car, I was like, okay, we're not gonna buy that. If I saw the big posters, I was like, oh, it looks neat.
I will say that when I was in elementary school, in one of our self-contained Spanish classes that I was part of, we had different books. And one of them was a book on that maybe y'all have heard about it. It says how toys are made. And one of the things that I remember was the Glitter and Gold Roadster, and they showed people like dropping it off. In pictures. It's tested that we drop it off the table or something to see if it doesn't break, and it's perfectly done except it's missing the hood ornament, and that was probably done for trademark reasons or whatever. And that's what I remember most of all. That I'm like, oh my God, this is a car. What is it? And of course they never tell you what the brand is. They had this Snoopy snow cone machine. They're like, can you guess this character? It's like, yeah, yeah, of course. And the very end is there's a picture of these two little blonde girls playing with the roadster, and I for the life of me, I could have sworn they had Barbie dolls in it. But I know I was like, I want to be there. I want to be playing with those little girls and doing that too. But that's in terms of weirdest thing. Because never in my life would I expect something on TV to be in a book like that. And now I've found the Find Your Fate books, the little old books. Those are amazing. But as a child, that was the most outlandish thing I'd ever seen.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So I think those are some of the things that stand out, like some of the unusual like gem things that come back later on, like. Even things that are in the auction preview. But there's a book that has some stuff that from the late '80s. It was a doll book, and they had some sketches of the Stingers and the Hollywood Gem. And this is before any prototypes really they didn't know that they were prototypes, and they didn't have anything really found about them yet. So that was kind of like an early peek at what was to kind of potentially planned.
In regards to that, I actually own because there was a 2-part article that came out in the Doll Magazine 1988 in April and May with the two, and I have full magazines and I read the articles in full, and what she was saying, I mean some things were incorrect with what she was saying, but to read that, I mean I was born after Gem in 89, but to read what she was saying and how how Gem started and the rise of Gem and then the downfall, it actually brought a tear to my eye just because of how people were viewing Gem, how close they were to Gem, and then all of a sudden, us was like, nope, we're done with this, and it's just something so great, and it ended up being ended, but at the same time, as we can see, it has continued, for newer generations and with older people, and it's just amazing how something like Gem, has grown. And is so beloved, and it's just so unique in that respect. And like I said, in regards to those articles, and other articles posted elsewhere and other people's experiences, it's so heart, touching to, read all that, to hear all the stories, and, just to know that people's lives have actually been changed for the better because of Gem. And, you can't really say that about anything else, really.
First, by the way, I'm going to be mitigating online, but
Yay!
I found out about Gem when did Chow come out? 2010 or 2011?
The Bell? Chow by Charles. 2011, I think.
Right. That's when I found out. So, and like a couple months before that, first time. And you guys had to wait forever, right? And for that lucky moment, I guess, everything started happening, right?
that was like, it was interesting because for a while there was a dry spell. Like there was a long dry spell because it seemed like the show went off, it was syndicated for a little while, and then just like boom, like until the rise of the internet, then sites started popping up, and then I think not until the Rhino DVDs that was the first big, like, I remember when the Rhino DVDs came out in 2004 and I saw a big display of them, I was like, you know, like I was like, it was like a whole wall of Gem, and in Canada it was $84.99. And I was like, you can take my credit card, you just take it, just take the credit card, I'm gonna buy this. But it was like, I think it might have been imported, so that's why it was 84 or bad exchange rate. But it was $84.99. I was like, I need this, and it brought back that Gem love. And then, you know, a few years later, I was like, there's a JemCon? There's what? So yeah, until then, and then that's right, like everything, Chris is right, everything started rolling kind of, you know, when the Shout DVDs came out, then everything started coming back. So like more Gem merchandise, and so that's really neat.
It's funny that you should say that, because to me, I didn't have any downtime, because when I was watching it in syndication, and I was always coming home, like, just close enough that I might miss it. So my mom recorded every episode, and she clearly heard about it, because every VHS has these little labels that have the episode titles going down it, so that if I came home and we'd watch something or later in the day or the weekend and I wanted to watch an episode, be like, what episode do you want to watch? And we could actually go through and find it immediately. So I watched those pretty much until we moved the VHS player under the DVD player.
All the downgrade.
So yeah, I was watching it for forever, and DVD is just like icing on the cake to have.
Well, that's amazing, because that's a good segue into, because you had the VHS as the recordings. I remember when I was getting back into Gem, and the Shout Factory DVDs, the Rhino DVDs didn't release the last batch of episodes. So I was reading online about the Stingers, and I was like, what? This sounds crazy. Like, this third band comes in? Like, I vaguely remembered something about the episodes, but the Stingers to me when I was a kid, I was just like, they were just like guest stars. Like, I was like, they didn't stand out to me the way they did later on when I got to see all the episodes. And that was what made it interesting when I rewatched them. I'm like, whoa, they shook up the whole series for that last, wave of episodes. They really changed the tone of the show, and I think it added a lot of interesting dynamics. Right, it's too bad it happened right before the end, because it was as if it just set everything up for some new exciting things, and then it was over.
Yeah.
So how did people feel like when the Stingers, like, what are the Stingers' memories and how that affected the way the show was going?
Yeah, I forgot what I was saying earlier about the characters. I don't think now that I never got the Stingers dolls that I wanted to when the show was originally on. Because I think I started seeing pictures of the prototypes way before Integrity ever got the license. Like probably 2005 type area, I might have come across pictures of the prototypes online. I was like, why didn't we get these? They would have been awesome. That would have like taken the sales back through the roof. But I was thinking also, this is the first time I've had this thought, so I hope it's not too far out there. But talking about the article and how the blind died, I was like, now looking back at it, it's such a perfect snapshot of that particular time period. Because one of the reasons I loved Gem and Holograms was I love music videos. I liked MTV. I didn't have cable at home. I had to go to Grandma's house to watch MTV or watch Friday Night Videos, if anybody remembers.
NBC.
NBC, stayed up late, watched Friday Night Videos. And so that was like perfect way of putting music videos into children's hands without, how sometimes music videos could go too far over the top, sexuality and all that. But the music was still good. It wasn't too, and I love Disney, so I'm not saying this as an insult, but it's not a Disney cartoon type music, but it was edgier. It had something that you could relate to. But the weird thought I'm just having now is, did it end when it needed to? Would it have, is it possible, and I don't even want to think about this, but could Gem have become too generic, become too Barbie, could the fashions have stopped having that edge?
The uniqueness,
in order to compete with Barbie and the others.
Like I will say this, that by 88, the 80 didn't change.
Right.
81 all the way to 89, there's a plethora of new styles.
Yeah.
By the time the 90s were coming around, grunge was in fashion, Nirvana, the real Nirvana, things like that, grunge metal, the long hair, etc., not the big hair. But Gem would have had that can change.
Right. That's what I'm worried about.
You know,
Would have been worried about.
Barbie had, forgive me, rapping, rocking Barbie with a real boombox. Yes, have a blonde white girl play rap songs.
Yeah.
That's the best way to get kids into it. No. But I don't know. I won't say that it might not have become too base, but keeping things fresh. Would Jem have sung Gun? Would we have seen a shift in the music also? I don't know.
Yes.
But there's more to that than just the outfit.
Usually what happens in a cartoon is one of two things or both. Catalysts for change and catalysts for jumping the shark include adding new characters and usually changing the villain to be less evil and more silly. And you saw that with Thundercat, you saw that with He-Man, you saw that with, Ninja Turtles. You get to a point where it's clear the writers have kind of run out of original ideas and just really struggling.
Putting it up to new writers who don't really have a good grasp of the history of it.
And I think that's what made the Stingers interesting, was because they didn't feel like they were added as a last resort. It felt like they were added to add some dynamics to the show, because I mean, the Misfits were being played out at that point. Like, how many times can you hang Jem off a cliff? It just felt like, okay, we've seen that a few times, too many. And then it was something like, oh, you have these characters that they're not totally evil, they're not good. They're just this kind of in between where they're manipulative and they can do things to get what they want, but it's different than just pushing Jem off a cliff. It's like, oh, okay, they've got this whole other scenario going on.
Like breaking up the music and the Stingers. Just the two versions of Take It or Leave It. I just sing the song for a second to remember the title. The two versions of Take It or Leave It. The first version we see where Raptor is scaring Terry with the teddy bear with fangs. Kind of like, we're gonna be bad because we can. Versus Riot's internal issue with his father. The songs are exactly the same, sung the same. It's probably the same, the same music track and vocals, but the visuals speak volumes of how, in a matter of 4 or 5 episodes, you have that story arc. You have that character arc for both Riot and Minx. Change of Heart and then Riot's Hope. Rapture is just crazy as shit. You have that arc, and you had to compress that to get everything in terms of 65 for syndication. With the Misfits, you had a lot more time to show all 4 of them. Just as Roxy, Stormer and Jetta, each having their own episode where they have their own story arc and they're fleshed out more. You had to compress it a lot more for the Stingers, but you still got that very good.
Omar made a good point. I mean, at the end of season 2, things are starting to get a little mainstream, maybe a little not as edgy. And then I'm talking about the order they use now on the internet. Starting with the Stingers, what's one of the coolest scenes in the end? I mean, before that, all their concerts kind of like was it that realistic, the setting, or the displays? And then you have them in the club. Kimber and Jericho are very trendy, right? More than they've ever been dressed like.
Like my favorite Jericho look.
Yeah,
I love it.
they were wearing a jean jacket and skirt. Pretty trendy. Yeah, all those trendy. Everything about it was very up to date. Yeah, the whole thing changed, but I guess it's too late. It was already over. They were done. With society, so they just had to. Like maybe if that was earlier.
Then who knows? Yeah, it was a good last arc. Like, I think it really stands out as a short, sweet set of episodes. And you have comments?
Oh, well, now it feels old because it was backing off of memories, like how you first got into Jem. So I think scared back to that. I was definitely like a little kid, probably younger than should have been watching it. For me, I said at the panel yesterday, if we want, being a person of color, it blew my mind to see like Aja and Shayna like being involved in not just like some side character, and then music, and then I don't know if anyone else remembers this from the 80s. When you go to a birthday party, right, your parents would let you pick out what you wanted for your friend. Yeah. And so I was always picking out Jem stuff. And my first Jem doll was from my best friend who done the same. And I remember getting dance and just like all the, I think now as a DJ, like just even getting that orange boombox, like and all the extra details and the accessories. So like you don't realize it until years later. You're like, wow, all these times to the pick out what 2 shows they can use for their hour of screen time, it's always, we want to pick 2 gems. 2 gems. So,
Yay!
I don't know, I wanted to express that because for years she's been asking me, we've got to, New York Comic Con, can we see, when can we find them? She knows that big cons you can find the fans. When can we find people who love them? When can we find them? We Googled it and, this year being in the Northeast, it's been just, so I just wanted to say that since it's the memories now, but, yeah.
Thank you, Jim. Yay.
I know, like, only very few shippers, like, and I've been huge shipper of Aja Leaf and Rio Pacheco. I think they should be in love, I think they should be in love, and they should be together forever.
Oh my. Sounds like George again. Yeah, well that's the interesting thing is that that's another aspect of Jem. Jem has inspired a lot of fan fiction and a lot of reinterpretations that are very personal because people do see things in the show. Like a lot of people even thought that Riot could be like Riot and Jem, like they should be together, and the ideas like different combinations and what the pairings meant, and even like Kimber and Storm were kind of bleeds into the comic book, like what would happen if they got together, and that is in the new IDW series. So I think it's interesting that there were a lot of different pairings that could work.
I'd like to plug Jem's
Oh yes, and in the program, you got the fan fiction from Christiana Sky, and that's a story about Roxy. So it's a very good story. So check that out in our program.
She had a saga fanfic called Deception. It's on Booksy. The idea is if Jerica and Rio had a daughter who took up the new Jem mantle, what would happen? And this is good. There's amazing. It's literally a saga. It's a long, beautiful fanfic, and she's done all the characters and their children. It's a lot. It's before Disney's Descendants came out. She was doing this, so it's like that, but it's before Disney copied her.
Oh.
But it's really good. So please check it out. It's called Deception. It's on Booksy. Okay, that's my plug for today. Back to that now.
And now back to Jem.
And now back to Aja and Rio's really hot, wild relationship. Woo!
That is a reality show that I've not seen yet.
It's a reality show.
Oh my! And with that hot note, we are ready to go into the charity auction, which is coming up. So I will give everyone a couple of minutes. We'll just take a quick breather, and then the auction will start very shortly. Thank you, everybody! Yay!